Back at the end of 2021, I did a two-part video series on Pantheon Rise the Fall, and the key word that was surrounding Pantheon at that time was imminence. It was a word that those of us who are following the game, content creators like myself, really keyed in on because I think we really wanted to. But 6 months into the year, how has Pantheon Rise of the Fallen done? And what are we expecting? Quick disclosure here that I am not in any way associated with Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. I am just a fan of the game. I'm excited to see what will come from it, and I have backed the game since 2017. I strongly believe that this game will not only launch, but it will be something that has been missing from the MMO genre over the last couple years, really the last decade or so. Many of us are missing an MMO that has social friction and really challenge. In this video, I'm going to go over each month and give a brief overview of what has happened in that month and give some of the highlights. But keep in mind that there is going to be a lot of things that I will not be able to cover. The script for this video alone was 3 times the length of my normal script. I tried to edit it down and it was still twice the length of my normal script. So we're in for a long one, I think, unless I can really talk really fast or some shit like that. I don't know. Let's not do that. That was bad. Also seemed to have lost a little bit of my voice, so this one's going to be a bit of an interesting video in general. At the conclusion of each month, I'll also give you a confidence level. Confidence level in will alpha launch this year for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen? And to give a point of reference, at the end of last year, 2021, I thought that there was probably an 8 in 10 chance that alpha was going to launch before the end of 2022. So, let's see, where's my confidence level now, and how has it fared through the first 6 months of the year? January started out with optimism, but doesn't every new year? The HDRP was finishing up, and talk of new hires was in the air to bulk up the year to come. Much of the newsletter was looking forward, talk of work to be done and how they were preparing. That road to alpha list was a looming behemoth, and at least to me, there was becoming clear that there was a lot of work to do. And some very key pieces needed to be finished, specifically the HDRP and networking. Something that may have slipped by is a line regarding Visionary Realms as a company. With the addition of a dedicated HR staff last year, this year they are preparing for team-wide expansion and setting up the infrastructures, policies, and procedures to support more people coming in. They are working hard to ensure that Visionary Realms is not only a fun place to work, but also a fair, humane, and thoughtfully structured experience. On tech, QA, and business, we got updates and projections about all the hard work the team was currently doing and how they're preparing to go full in on the year. Most of the focus here was again on the high definition render pipeline, the first major task of the year as it was the new client for the game. At this point, the following pieces of Road to Alpha were complete: NPC combat awareness and asset and terrain streaming. The items that were in progress are HDRP conversion, class development, network overhaul, gathering and crafting, dispositions and traits, improved starting experience, zones, NPC models, animations, and audio. The items that were on the to-do list were pets, ability loadouts, perception system, faction, climbing improvements, swimming, acclimation, looking for group tools, basic guild system, banks, and player models. We'll get to the updates of these as we go through each month and see if any of them change. Additionally, we got a meaty 50-minute video on the alpha roadmap progress, as well as the January dev roundtable with Chris and Kyle talking about programming. My confidence level slipped from 8 to 7 here, just seeing the enormity of what needed to be done. This is more of a reflection of my hype perhaps exceeding realities back in 2021 than anything negative from the month's updates. The big news for February was the announcement of the first playable HDRP build that was handed over to the QA team with a positive initial response, despite the size of the update. The HDRP client was also being prepared for pre-alpha with the integration of flora, biome, and water systems, as well as sky and lighting solutions which would lead to day-night cycles. Something notable about these day-night cycles is they would allow for time of day spawns and dispositions. The last part about the dispositions, that's an interesting thing to me because it made me think, what about dispositions that change at night? Could we see a disposition of more alarmist at night because, the night is dark and full of terrors? Should I like trademark that? Is that That's a cool phrase. I should trademark that, right? By this month, we could already see the major focus moving from HDRP implementation to networking integration, the next big bottleneck. While there are multiple updates on the road to alpha, nothing shifted over to a new status. We got a more focused stream on the Giants of Terminus covering lore, concept art, and ending with in-game coverage. We got to see a sense of scale within the game, showing just how massive some structures could be. The VIP roundtable covered HR with Gianna and Lynn, making good on the promises made in January about HR being a focus. All that said, my confidence further slipped here to 6 of 10. Not because the dev roundtable or the newsletters weren't interesting and engaging, because they lacked the substantive updates on progress, outside of the HDRP client going to QA. Now in March, well, there's a lot. But the highlight here is the HDRP Part 2 video. If February was fun, but perhaps lacking some of that wow, March sure as hell brought it. Not only did we get the video showing off the HDRP, which, as a reminder to anyone not following it, is the conversion of the existing project to a new rendering pipeline to allow for higher definition graphics, more powerful rendering tools, and improved client performance. Well, this moved from in progress to completed on the road to alpha list. Nothing else changed status, there were various updates throughout. I covered the HDRP video in more depth earlier this year on this channel, and that'll be linked below down here, so you won't leave now. Like, go watch it later. Stay here. Stay for this video. Don't leave. Please stay.
You are stuck here with me. You cannot leave. You have to remain.
Or you could, I guess you could just click off the video if you really, but please don't. I'm sorry. I'll behave. While you're down there though, there's a button, a like button. There's also a subscribe button. We hit 1.3k subscribers. It blows my mind that we're already at 1.3k, and I just thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for the support. You know, I didn't mean to go off here, but it really means a whole lot to me. It tells me that what I'm doing here on this channel is worth your time. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I'm here to bring you as much information as I can on updates with MMOs and really cover some of the larger topics within the MMO community. If that's what you like, hopefully you stick around. Now, this month moved my confidence level up to 7 of 10 again. I still had some hesitation because while the HDRP was huge, there was another behemoth waiting in the wings. April. Well, April was an interesting month as I don't think it had the same dip that February did, but nor did it ignite the kind of excitement March had. And that's despite getting looks at 2 new zones. We got a well-constructed 38-minute video on the state of the game, which covered everything from art team updates to new hires. I really liked this video this month because we got to hear from so many different teams directly. This kind of format is something I'd love to see more of as we get these state of the game updates. We got more updates on the roadmap, but no status changes. I think because the networking was looming so large here, my confidence slipped back to 7 out of 10. Now May started out with a bit of tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, so let's start right with some questions, guys. These questions are, they've come from the community all over. So we hope that you guys will enjoy some of the answers here. So let's go ahead and
10 burning questions.
All right, David,
Okay.
so you're first.
Yep.
Let's go.
Question number 1, when is alpha?
9 burning questions.
The first real question was actually about the elephant in the room, the network overhaul. This is where we heard from Minus that things were going very well on this process. By this May update, it was being implemented into the development server. I was thrilled to hear this as it's part of the road to alpha. I felt it was key to get this part done in the first half of the year. And of big news to someone like me who plans to make a great deal of Pantheon content was the discussion of the NDA looking forward to alpha. While subject to change, it sounds like there will be a relaxation of the NDA at this point, even allows streaming of the alpha client. And not for the first time, we heard that alpha will usher in thousands of people to Terminus. Perhaps a stranger thing I want to highlight here is sea travel. This was one of the burning questions, and at one point Minus said,
So, sea travel. So as an open world, it will be technically possible to swim to most places, given enough time, proper endurance management, luck, as in not being eaten by a mean sea creature. But one of the main components of sea travel will be the manufacturing and captaining of sea vessels. So it's pretty big.
Back in EverQuest, anyone who played the early days before maps may remember the thrill of discovering islands in Ocean of Tears, or even Lake Wrath. It's an amazing experience of exploration that left these intense impressions on me. A good impression, not a bad one, like other games when it comes to swimming. There's no swimming, you do this instead. You just do this. You just do this. You just walk underwater. Oh shit, I'm gonna die. Oh shit, no. Go back. Go back. Go back. Don't die. Fucking die. Oh my god. Don't die. If I die, fuck off. We also got the kind of segment that really hits home for me, a lore-rich and gameplay video-rich look at Thronefast. This is the kind of section I'll watch over and over again to learn more about. They ended with another look at Sorhirith, also known as the zone name that every content creator will be corrected on ad nauseum, alongside other names like Darkmere and Melee, or Melee, or Melee. It's Melee, right? They'll all corrected me for like 6 months. It better be Melee. The zone is one the team is working to update us on to show progress while other items are ongoing. The announcement of in-city gliders was a cool bonus that shows they're thinking about how interesting and fun ways to make travel in the game, even within a city, both manageable and fun. Again, there were no status changes in the road to alpha, but one update was very encouraging. We have entered the final phase of vinyl integration. The VIP roundtable covered gathering and crafting, something that has picked up steam in 2022, with the lengthy roundtable covering everything from class and race impacts on crafting to harvesting methods. My confidence level here remained at 7 out of 10. Well, June's lengthy video came as a bit of a surprise. Videos have been trending toward the 30-minute mark, and this time we got almost an hour-long video on monk combat updates and gameplay, as well as dream crushing for every aspiring halfling warrior. With the game updates came a change to the class race matrix to better fit thematically within the game. I always had a love-hate relationship with class race combos dating back to EverQuest, and it initially caused issues in World of Warcraft, if I'm remembering correctly, with some classes actually being faction locked due to these kinds of matrices. But on the positive side, they make the game feel more lore heavy, the same way a halfling Shadow Knight didn't fit in EverQuest, a Darkmere Druid doesn't fit in Pantheon. Wait, the video that they did, it focused on the monk? Didn't I do a video on the monk? This is getting like this is a belt, I think. Anyway. Man, is that video is already irrelevant? Like, I mean, I guess it was already irrelevant with techniques, but now it's even more irrelevant. Wait! That means I can remake the video! Thanks for the easy content, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen! One of the cool things that came out of this video is that they talked about increasing returns instead of diminishing returns for resting. Resting longer speeds up resting. This sounds like another way Pantheon is adding a layer of tactics. Should you rest just long enough to use an ability, or rest a little longer to get a second use faster than if you use one, rest, and use one again? Ditto for the sprint ability, which I remember using very often in EverQuest 2. You know, speaking of EverQuest, let's put this to rest right now. Jumping definitely makes it easier to avoid the death blow from a moss snake. It's a proven fact. Don't at me and don't check. Notable updates from the newsletter include updates to various art aspects, like the human model and its workflow, as well as work done on human architecture and work around Thronefast. I thought I noticed in the monk video that things just looked a bit more full and polished, but I couldn't tell if that was just wishful thinking or not. There were two big takeaways. The producer's letter ended with vague dates for the VIP testers. I read this as pre-alpha, so don't get your hopes up if you're an alpha tester. Would possibly back into test the system and network updates this summer. As it's already June, that really only leaves July and August, though some might push into September. It will be interesting to see if this happens in the next 2 to 3 months. We have a more direct time frame for the completion of networking, mid-June. This will be something key to watch in the July newsletter. Will we see networking move to complete? And if so, will we start seeing more dominoes fall on the road to alpha? I think this bumped my confidence level back up to 8 of 10. Yay! For those keeping track, to the same place I was at the end of last year. I might be too optimistic, but I'm gonna always lean towards optimism on this channel. But this is mostly because the networking piece is nearing completion, or by the time this video launches is complete. So how do I feel about the 6 months of Pantheon this year? Well, it's a bit mixed if I'm going to be completely honest. I feel like steady progress is being made. The game is making huge strides with the HGRP and the networking stack, but some of these things do feel like they're taking a bit longer than we or VR even may want. But these tools we have been shown can speed up the process. We're not that far removed from seeing how quickly they could make different things within a zone. Now I'm going to hold on to some of my confidence until networking is fully, completely shown as complete, as that networking part moves over to green on the road to alpha list. But I'm still optimistic. I'm still excited that we're potentially going to see alpha this year. And keep in mind that alpha is just another testing phase. This is would not be launch. It would just be a testing phase where really they're telling us that the game is at a point where we can start testing systems in large numbers, very large numbers. If the 2 different times we've been told that there are thousands of people waiting to get in for alpha. I believe in this team and I believe in the product they're making. And until proven otherwise, that's where I'm gonna sit. I'm excited to see what comes from the world of Terminus and see if it can be a new home, somewhere to take me away from Norath and give me somewhere else to explore. If you want a more in-depth look at the HGRP Part 2, which is probably the largest video from Pantheon this year, take a look over here. And if you're interested in weather and you want to see what that's going to mean for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen and Ashes of Creation, well, take a look over here. This video will blow your house down. And yes, that was lame even in the script, and I kept it in because I am terrible. I'm sorry. Please don't unsubscribe.